The Pentagon is now investigating whether Russia was involved in last week's or rather this week's deadly chemical attack in Syria that prompted President Trump to launch the first direct military assault against Syria's ruler. That's video of the Navy launching missiles to attack a Syrian air base believed to have played a role in the use of chemical weapons. Syria claims 7 people were killed. The U.S. says about 20 Syrian warplanes were destroyed. Mr. Trump is blaming the chemical attack on the Assad regime. More than 80 people were killed, many of them children.
Using a deadly nerve agent, Assad choked out the lives of helpless men, women, and children. It was a slow and brutal death for so many.
Jacksonville is home to the nation's 5th largest Syrian American population, and those with loved ones still living in the war-torn country are concerned. Channel 4's Chris Parento is joining us live. He spoke with a man with family in Syria. Chris, what does he think about all of this?
Tom, he, like many others that I've spoken to, tell me that their biggest concern is for their family members and their friends back in Syria. People that I've talked to today have been on both sides of this debate with whether or not the United States should have taken military action or whether or not diplomacy would have been the way they preferred the president go.
The red part is the part where the government control.
In his office, Dr. Antoine Cassis spent a little time today looking at the Syrian war map. He says word of last night's airstrikes left him pacing at home, concerned about what was happening.
Every day there are a lot of horror, and it has to be stopped.
Cassis says he still has family in Syria and is worried that military action could lead to rebel forces taking more areas that are controlled by the government right now. He says he feels American involvement is necessary, even trying to remove Bashar al-Assad from power.
I think at one time he should be out, but not by losing on the ground. It has to be by a political solution, because it will be disaster if he gets out by losing militarily.
In the wake of the strikes, Cassis and other local Syrians tell me they're concerned for their friends and family still in the country, unsure of what will happen in the coming days and weeks and if more airstrikes could be coming or what other groups in the region will do.
If they are in safe area, okay, they are in the capital, in Damascus, okay, they are far away from the base where the strike was. But the problem is, you never know. If some kind of crazy decision like that again, they may kill my family.
One man that I spoke to who told me today that he was very much in favor of these airstrikes in Syria told me he didn't want to go on camera. He says that he has spoken out in the past in favor of military action in Syria and has received threats because of his actions. But again, he says that he agrees with President Trump's decision last night to launch those Tomahawk missiles at Syria. Live tonight, I'm Chris Parento, Channel 4, the local station.
Chris, thanks. President Trump says heartbreaking images like this one moved him to make those tough decisions to strike the alleged perpetrators. This one showing rescue workers carrying a child in the moments after the chemical attack. Another image, take a look, is showing a little boy being treated with oxygen. Many photos are too graphic to show. 26 children were among the more than 80 people killed in Tuesday's attacks. After ordering the U.S. military to use more than 50 cruise missiles to strike an airfield in Syria, President Trump said, quote, "No child of God should ever suffer such horror."